Alright. Recording. Jesus Christ. Alright. So, try to make this as quick as possible. On the phone-olator here is Phillip. Say hi.
Hi.
Alright, this is just like Resident Evil thingy, whatever that movie was called. Who gives a fuck? Now, I haven't seen it yet. This lovely person here has seen Sharknado 2, the second one. Was that? Yeah. And before we go on, like, him telling me about the movie, I have to, like, my problem, not with Sharknado, my problem is the people. There are people who have viewed the Sharknado, I guess, series now, and who are absolutely upset with it. They're like, this is horrible, why do people like it? It's like, I know that you don't watch enough movies to warrant this type of opinion, because these movies have existed for quite some time. Especially The Asylum has existed for quite some time. I have reviewed several of their things. Then they keep doing this, and it's funny. They sometimes do this shit where they know it's shit, and they keep doing it, and sometimes they try really hard to make good movies, and it just falls into shit. Anyway, yeah, so I was at work while this lovely person was watching Sharknado, and I had a horde of texts just come into my phone, which was lovely. So, what did you feel about Sharknado?
Well, unnecessary.
Well, duh.
But it was like, okay, so we all know, like, okay, stupid movie, but that's why people like it. It's stupid.
Uh-huh.
Like, it was such a mess. Tara Reid.
and her fake tits.
But it's, like, not even, like, she's, like, I don't know what happened to her, like, I don't know, like, lately she's just, like, it seems like she's there just for the paycheck,
Oh, yeah. It's obvious she's there for the paycheck, please.
Because I'm just like, okay, so you could at least try to act a little bit, just a little bit.
I heard that her crying was really, really bad.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying, though. I'm just like, okay, you can't even scream and make us believe that you're scared.
Yeah. Was she literally like, ah?
Yeah, and then there's this one part in the beginning, apparently they're in a plane, and it's, like, flying to the city after the first one, and it just happens again, and literally, okay, like, any movie with continuity and filming, because in one scene, everyone knew what was going on, and the next one, nobody knew what was going on, and the third one, okay, everyone knows again, and then half of them forget. I'm like, what?
So the continuity of sudden amnesia, onslaught of sudden amnesia happens, okay?
Yeah, there's that. So yeah, there's one part where something happens, and okay, let's go, shark, propeller breaks open, whatever, and half of the plane gets ripped off by, for some reason. People are getting sucked out, she gets sucked out, holding on to something. The air marshal's like, oh, he drops his gun, yelling at her, mind you, while all this noise is happening. Get the gun, get the gun. She picks up the gun, and while hanging halfway out the airplane, see the shark coming towards her, even though it's a fucking tornado.
Right.
Coming directly for her. She's trying to shoot at it, and it bites her handle. Like, well, whatever. Then she couldn't even make us believe that happened.
Wow.
And there was that whole part where there's a subway and shark decides to just...
Oh, Jared, Subway Jared in the subway eating Subway.
Yeah, I was like,
Subwayception. Yeah.
Perez Hilton sacrifices himself for Jared.
Well, you know what? That's fine. Perez Hilton needs to kill himself, so that's fine.
And it was just like... But then again, my thing is like, okay, so these sharks that are apparently in the tornado...
Right.
They aren't oversized monsters, just regular sharks. So then again, a shark in the subway just decided to rip off the back of a subway car like it was made of foil.
Right, and I love the text that you sent me that that they all got on an empty 7 train, because that exists.
Yeah, but for some reason, like, okay, so whatever the story was, these captain's family in City Field.
Uh-huh.
And then it's snowing, and then it's not snowing, and it's snowing again, and it's not. everyone is running, the 7 train is right there. They're running up to the 7 train. Mind you, they have a horde of people running behind me. This little girl is like literally smiling as she's running. I'm like, that doesn't take me out of this.
Right? Like, she's like, oh my god, we're running! It's so much fun! We're not dying.
That 7 train just so happens to pull up and it's empty, and I'm like, coming from me? No, definitely not.
Right. It's like kind of like when we saw the first Amazing Spider Lad, and he was on. It was. I think it was technically an A train, and it said it was a Q train, and you and I were like, that is not the fucking Q train. That's an old ass car. The Q train's got all like the nice new ones that are wider, and you're on the fucking like A or C train. You're on an old dilapidated train, sir. Do not try to fool us New Yorkers about this,
That's what I'm saying, and then, speed up a little bit, and then for some reason there's like a character number 1, she looks like shit.
Yeah, I saw the gifs from BuzzFeed, and she does have a case of puffy face. Yeah.
What the hell happened to her? But yeah, she's in it for whatever reason, I guess. Her
paycheck.
So, like, they're in Times Square, right?
Right, like you do.
And it's known. They said, oh, Times Square is the growth of the world, whatever. Oh, they're looking for weapons and whatever, but New York is all illegal and shit, so they have to supply it. Well,
Right.
I'll get them to the toy store. Mind you, Toys R Us is behind her, and she's running in the opposite direction. I'm like, that's no. Nope.
So, Toys R Us is behind her, and what, was she running towards, like, the staircase, or was she running towards, like, Bubba?
Towards Bubba.
She's like, I'm gonna go to the toy store, that Levi store over there.
I read something on BuzzFeed that someone commented, like, okay, so the writers that this in New York, it made it seem like they got their ideas from
3 commercials and a meth addict.
Yeah, and visited once. I'm like, yeah, that's about right. Apparently they didn't know where anything fucking goes.
There was also the text that you sent me. They're like, apparently City Field is right by the water.
I mean, technically, yes, it is.
But there's also like there's like several street. Yeah, I get you. It's not like on a harbor, not like whatever that baseball field is, in Staten Island or so, whatever. Yeah, it's not like that. I get you. Yeah. Okay.
So then again, there was a whole scene where the Statue of Liberty's head got ripped off and it's, rolling down the street, which I can deal with.
Right.
They're running away from it. But for some reason, they wanted to use the same scene twice and had them once running one direction, and all of a sudden they're magically in a car coming from the same direction.
Oh wow. Okay. So it's not like we shot from this side of the street and we crossed the street, shot from the other, like look at it like different ways. Also, I really hate when in disaster movies, like, try to incorporate the Statue of Liberty. You have to realize the island of Manhattan, and then where Liberty Island, where the Statue of Liberty is, it is quite far of a distance, and people make it seem like the Statue of Liberty is literally at like the fucking dick tip of like Manhattan. It's like, no, it's quite like it's a ferry right away. It's literally on its own little island in between Jersey and New York. It is not that close, and they act like it's just as close to the Empire State Building. I'm like,
I don't know, like I said, I don't know how the hell that fucking got them to Manhattan, but it did.
Right.
They're running away from it, maybe turn up a block, and apparently the head turned up the block with them.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what logic? Or I'm like, alright, fine, it is what it is, I guess.
Oh my god. Yeah, there was, Phil had sent me a lovely text that also said that while we're on our lovely trips around Manhattan, that if we would have seen one of those postings that said what it's filming for, if you're not, you have come to like a New York, yada yada. Obviously, a lot of things get filmed here, yada yada. And so a lot of times they would post things up saying like no parking, yada yada, due to like police things, whatever, and it'll actually say like if it's filming for something, so you'll know like when Law and Order is being filmed or whatever fake movie, like they'll put a movie under like a fake title or whatever, just so no one knows. But if we would have walked around and saw a thing that said, like, no parking, yeah, Sharknado 2 was being, like, filmed, we would have shat our pants and would have, like, selfied the bitch out of that, you know?
Exactly, and then, I don't even know, then at the end, there was a part where they find the shark that bit her hand off, and she opens her mouth and pulls her arm out, but her hand is missing, not her arm. Why?
So the shark bit, like, from her wrists on, but instead they pulled out something from, like, the elbow on?
Yep, exactly.
Alright. I saw, like, the gif of, oh god, I hate that he doesn't go by the name Ian, he goes by Ian, like, wow, you're special. Mr. 90210 guy, like, he's flying through the air with a chainsaw in his hand, like, I saw that.
Yep, that happened.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
And apparently they attach a rotary saw to her Tara Reid's hand, and...
Very Evil Dead, thank you. Like...
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh... yeah, then it's just end, I'm like, alright, that was... horrible, like, honestly, there wasn't... The second one has no redeeming qualities about it.
Right. They just made it because, like, it was popular.
At least the first one is just like, okay, well, they tried, it was a story, they explain how the tornado shark happened, and now you see them on the Today Show, going like, oh, well, you know, the shark, this happened, like, it happens a lot. Like, okay, so, what's it, it's gonna be, what, Sharknado with Superman downpour of sharks? I'm like, oh,
right, because I think I saw something where, like, Matt Lauer was, like, impaling a shark with Al Roker with an umbrella.
Yeah, that happened.
Alright, Sharknado 2. Electric Boogaloo. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't even know. I can't. Like, I was like, wait, what? They need to try, and then they have the whole, like, I mean, if you're gonna have, like, you know, the celebrity cameos, which I understand, fine, but they're on TV all the time, and they can't act, so it's like, okay, so let's use one shot if you fuck up something anyway.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, alright, I guess, if that's what you want to do. And they did. And honestly, like, literally, if you're gonna turn it on and watch it, you're just gonna turn it off. I was like, how do you do that?
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you actually sat through the whole thing, because I'm usually the person to sit through horrible movies by myself, and you're usually the person who is like, no, 2 minutes in, fuck it, turned it off, you know, so a little surprised by that.
Then they had to improvise weapons, and they put fucking, gas and fucking a water gun and set it on fire to make it like a flamethrower, but I'm like, what is that now?
I was gonna say, when the plastic melt, like, that's... Well, how dare he put logic into things? Remember, I'm the person who tried to put logic into the Twilight series and explain the continuity issues of frickin', you know, Jasper being made apparently after Edward. That still bothers me. I'm like, Stephanie Meyer, I already hate you enough, but...
You know what, at least with that, there's enough for you to forget it, and that's one thing, and it's not continuity issues from one scene that gets confused. That's what I was like. That's what I didn't understand. I'm like, wait, you just told them what you were gonna do, and then they're asking you what you're doing again.
Yeah, it's like, I think in all seriousness with this one, like, not to, like, you know, whatever. I think with this one, what they did was like, oh, the first one was so popular, we can make enough money to make a second one. Fuck it, slap it together, who cares? Everyone gets paid, let's go home. Like, I think they did, even a worse job than they normally do, if that makes any sense. Because it's a silent.
Yeah, I couldn't see, just like, they didn't even try. That was my issue. Like, if you're gonna do a movie like that, you know, it's a stupid fucking premise, whatever. I mean, but it was entertaining enough to be like, alright, because it's so stupid. Now it's just like, okay, so you just didn't try.
Yeah. Well...
And like, all this shit happened on the airplane in the beginning. He finds a way to land the plane and everyone's clapping, and I'm just like, no.
Hey! And that was Sharknado 2, the second one.
Yeah.